Hello and welcome to Most Haunted Extra, where we take you behind the scenes of each location we investigate for Most Haunted. We let you hear our thoughts, and you can also see footage that has been exclusively shot for Most Haunted Extra. But before our investigation began, the crew gave their first impressions.
I'm not too taken by the place. I don't think it's that haunted.
This place is totally inactive. There's no feel about the place at all.
I don't feel like there is anything here whatsoever.
First impressions, not particularly atmospheric at the moment, but it's early days yet.
It doesn't feel haunted at all.
They're talking about Owlpen Manor in Gloucestershire, and the crew's first impressions were not favourable of the building. Oh, but how wrong they all were.
You go to the light! It's okay. It's okay.
Whilst the crew set up camera and lights to begin filming, the owners of the property gave us an item that had been found in the grounds a few years ago. No one knows who owned this shoe, and we thought psychic medium E01 would be able to help us by psychometrising. Okay, Ian, now we're going to do a bit of psychometry now. Now, in this home, they actually found this old shoe.
Right.
It has a connection to the property, well, they think, but they don't know in which way. So I'll just leave you to it and see what you can come up with.
I've been kind of meditating for a little while with it, picking energies from it, but I've been getting mixed feelings from it. First of all, I wanted to say it was a gentleman's shoe, or a boy's shoe, and then I wanted to change it to a girl's shoe. So the conclusion I can come up with, I feel it's been passed down.
Oh, right.
So I feel like two sexes would have worn this. The second one, the female I got, I felt she had connections in the house, like a housekeeper or something like that, because I could hear a shout saying, "Go to bed." So I felt she'd have had some authority sending kids to bed, etc., etc. But as far as connections with a house, I'm still very unsure whether it had connections with the house, but I do feel I could see soil around it.
Mm-hmm.
So I do feel that children would have played in mud, in soil, or they dug it up from soil. But it would have originated as a boy's shoe, I feel. I feel maybe kind of 1650, somewhere around there, maybe bit later than that. That's the sort of feeling I'm getting from it. I'm also feeling that the boy that had the shoe didn't live to a great age. Now I feel tightness to the chest, feel very cold, coughing like mucus, blood, etc. up. So not whether we suffered from TB or something very similar, like a pneumonia type thing, but I do feel that I had a serious chest infection as well.
Would you be able to sort of give an age as to when this little boy would have passed over?
I certainly feel no older than 13, but I feel the age of 7 and 8. But I also feel that I've got a mark across my head as well, like a scar, so he would have had a bump or a little fall at some point. I don't know if I'm picking... I'm getting the name of Joseph with this boy. Very pale complexion, so I do feel this boy would have been born with an illness. Or there'd been something wrong with him from the beginning, so his expectations wouldn't have been for a long life.
Right.
I'm happy with the soul, but the heel, as I was looking at earlier on, I just feel that this feels like a new heel compared to when it was originally made. But I feel this shoe was made for this person. I feel it was tailored for this person rather than a one-off, you know, like a shelf shoe or whatever. I'm unsure about this buckle. I do feel there was a buckle on it, but it just doesn't feel right to me. Maybe because some bits are missing, but it just doesn't feel right. Unless it's because it's been cleaned, they've taken an energy away from it. But I'm not happy with the buckle at all.
You don't think it might? You think it might have been added on or something?
Yeah, possibly. It could have happened if he broke his buckle and they've had it repaired, and at a later date they put a new buckle on. But I just feel this shoe was worn for many years.
Let's ask Richard. I mean, would that be right that two different families would live in the same house?
Highly likely, because obviously there'd be the main family that lived here, the owners of the house, and then there would be servants, and they would have their children, of course, here as well. Possibly not living in the house, but in one of the cottages.
Right.
Or the upstairs-downstairs situation may be here. And the house was certainly here, certainly before 1650, when, of course, Ian mentioned the date. Right. I had a look at the shoe earlier, and I genuinely think that it is about that period. And the funny thing is, without saying to anybody, I didn't like the buckle on it.
Oh, isn't that weird? That's
Really
strange.
Yeah, I feel that it's not contemporary with the shoe.
That's fascinating.
But would it also be acceptable for like the housemaids? Would they be allowed to bring their children in?
Oh yes,
So that would be.
There's no doubt about
There's no
that.
class difference where they wouldn't be allowed or anything like
No,
that.
they would have certainly been. They probably wouldn't have been seen by the family, the main family. They'd have been
Okay.
kept separate at certain times, but they'd have been used for jobs, probably
Right, okay.
cleaning out
Sure.
fires and things.
And could this be handed down?
Very much so. I mean,
Okay.
obviously, the people with the quality shoes,
Yeah.
when they were no longer any good for
Sure.
them, they would have then given them to the servants.
And it would be tailor-made, like.
It would have been made for the possibly
boy.
the son of the
Yeah,
house or,
okay.
or the daughter of the house. Yes.
So it could all very well be. You could be right.
Yeah.
It's fascinating.
Yeah.
Interesting shoe.
I'm impressed.
Oh, he's so good, isn't he, Norman?
Fantastic.
Round of applause for Ian Norman. Ian Norman. So, according to Ian, the shoe was definitely connected to Owlpen Manor. As the hours ticked by, slowly but surely, strange things were beginning to happen.
I was taking the camera around doing the extra footage, and there seemed to be a lot of dust, which I assumed was dust, in one of the corridors. And I went to show it there, and I was like, look at the dust, and it turned out it looked like a lighting on me in the daytime. So I don't know, once we rewind that and see what it was, but it looked really, really good. So after seeing that, I felt a little bit worried.
Have I missed it? No. Come on a minute. Yeah, look at them.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
That was really good. This strange light is a first for the crew. It was caught in daylight and not on night vision cameras. According to the family, this corridor where it was caught is very active and many ghost sightings have been witnessed here. With this activity caught on camera, our expectations were heightened. What would the night hold for us, and would our spiritualist medium Derek Akora be able to cope with an entity that terrified us all? It was now very dark at Owlpen Manor, and with the aid of our night vision cameras, we took Derek Akora upstairs to a room that had taken us all by surprise. The attic room was filled with books that seemed to have a mind of their own, and Derek was certain an evil spirit called Daniel was responsible.
Are they aware of the things that go on?
Very much so, because you see they haven't got that protection of themselves.
So what
So
are
if
they
they were
hearing?
sleeping, all they could hear is screaming.
Well, that has to be one of the most strangest things I've ever encountered on Most Haunted. It was bizarre. I heard a noise coming from a room behind one of the crew members. We went into it, and then the next thing I know, books are flying. Didn't actually see them move, but we got the end of it. They were there on the bed. A book was there on the bed, and then a book hit Rick and John, and Rick's actually hurt his leg. And the bookshelf, when that rocked next to Derek, Simon and I know we both screamed and fell backwards. I mean, it was terrifying. I've never ever been in a situation like that. That was really scary.
Well, Derek, do you think those pictures are trying to say something?
We have just done a walk around, a night vision walk around where we met Phil and Derek. Now, we've just been into one of the attic rooms upstairs. Now, all day long, I've been walking around this place, not really thinking it's haunted. I have to admit that. I thought it wasn't really a haunted property, but I'm eating my words. There was something in that room with us. We're all quite shocked, actually. We had the first thing that happened was some books came off of a shelf, and some of these pictures came out. They were demonic drawings. They were laying on the bed. The book, I can't remember what it was called, but it's got no real relevance to anything. We've just checked with the family. There's no one in the family drawing these pictures. Apparently no one can actually draw. So it's quite, that's quite disturbing in a way.
And this is what this beggar practiced, and anyone he touched upon, his cohort.
Oi, there's another book.
No.
A book just hitting on the leg.
Right on my leg.
Well, so there was me saying that nothing would happen, and I was sceptical. Well, now I've changed my mind, because after our walk around, lots of things happened, especially in the attic. A book hit my leg and bounced off my leg and hit Rick, and that sort of changed my opinion, actually. We heard a lot of different noises we couldn't explain from different parts of the room, and it was very unusual, but it's very exciting. So I've changed my opinion of this place. I think it's going to be a fulfilling night.
We were all amazed at what had just taken place. This for us was a first poltergeist activity that was quite literally aimed at us. We decided that a séance would be a good idea in the attic room. As well as Derek, we also invited Ian Lawman to sit in and lead the séance. What happened next was the biggest shock of all.
So can you talk to us? Come on, try and talk to us.
Everyone, it's okay, everyone.
Just calm, relax.
It's okay, everyone. It's okay using Derek as a channel. It's okay, friend, come and talk. Everyone stay calm.
Who are you? Can you hear my voice? Who are you? Try and communicate to us. Who are you?
We're here to talk to you, friend.
Leave you? No, we won't leave you. No, we won't leave you. No.
It's okay, it's okay. It's okay, it's okay. Just everyone stay calm.
I'm calm. Oh, you don't scare me. You don't scare me. No, you don't scare me. No, sit down now. Sit down now. Sit down now. Sit down.
Okay.
Derek. Calm down, Derek.
No, stay. Okay, leave it. I'm demanding you now to leave this person. I'm demanding you now to leave. I'm demanding you to leave now. And leave this door. You come away now. Leave now. You go to the light. You go to the light. You go to the light. You're going to the light. You're going to the light. Walk into the light, friend. We're here to help. That's it. You're at peace. You're at peace. You're at peace. Go to the light. Go to the light.
Derek, come forward.
Go to the light. Just leave a minute. It's okay. Go to the light and leave Derek.
His tongue's out.
It's okay. It's okay. Go to the light, my friend. Go to the light. Go to the light. Go to the light, my friend. Go to the light, my friend. God bless you, my friend. Go to the light. Go to it. It's okay, my friend. It's okay, Derek. You're with us now, Derek. You're with us now. You're with us now. Okay, mate.
Thank you.
You're with us now.
Thank you.
Then we went back up into the room to do a seance with practically everybody. Again, that was very interesting. Derek it was seen to be sort of possessed by a not very pleasant spirit, and decided to come and attack or come towards me. I don't know where I got my bravery from, but I started screaming at Derek and I've made my throat sore. And apparently Derek then went for Phil, and Phil had to strangle Derek to get him off. It was all very dramatic.
To get back. Don't worry, do you want someone to take you back?
Please just be careful, will you?
We will do.
You helped.
Right, just got back from doing a seance upstairs in the attic. Bit bizarre. Derek, something came through Derek. And Yvette and Derek had a slagging match. And it was all a bit scary, to be honest. I didn't know how to react because I've never seen anything like it before. And then Derek tried to, or Phil tried to strangle Derek. I couldn't really tell what was going on from where I was shooting it, but there was sort of, they seemed to be wrestling each other on the bed. It was difficult to see. And then Derek sort of passed out and was mumbling, and Ian was trying to help him out of it. And it was all a bit weird, because I've never seen anything like that before in my life. I'm earning a lot.
I just done a seance where, in the room where apparently poltergeist activity happened earlier with the books coming off the shelf. Quite interesting. Derek got possessed or taken over by some evil presence, and at one point he was actually having a standing slamming match with Yvette. And then he came over to me and basically tried to choke me, put his hands around my throat. My instant reaction was to do exactly the same that he was doing to me, and I gave as good as I got, and I think I gave a better on that one. It's interesting. Not done that before. Tried to throttle our medium.
Is now leaving your body.
Hello, well, I've just done a séance upstairs in the attic with the team, and Derek went into a trance, and although I've seen it when I've watched Most Haunted myself, I haven't actually seen Derek go into a trance live, as I'm not normally on the walk rounds with him, and I've got to say it was really scary. There was a presence up there that took over Derek's body, and he was evil, and he was hissing and spitting at Yvette, and I'd hate the thought that any spirit like that could possibly take over one of us, maybe. So I'd say from that I'd be really wary about going into seances from now on, really wary of the presences that could possibly be in properties that we would be arousing and asking to use our energies. I'd be taking the whole thing a lot more seriously from now on, having seen how powerful that entity was over Derek.
Derek went into trance, and he was actually getting a feeling or an impression of being possessed by a gentleman who was actually in that room. It didn't go too well for Derek. We had to rescue him.
I was expecting things purely simply because of the feelings he was transmitting. Expecting, I didn't know what. I got the feeling earlier on that he was very powerful. But what was he going to do if he was going to do anything? So there was an expectancy,
but an expectancy of, what is he going to do?
As Most Haunted Extra leaves Owlpen Manor, I think we can say we all learned a great lesson on this investigation. Never judge a book by its cover.
And it is a haunted place, there's no doubt about it. I was right. Of course I was right. I'm always right.
There's no one here.
Hey, let's go down money for the burger.
She's trying to mount me.
I'll sum it up in one sentence. The shit went down.